Hey, Mickey.
Dude.
Yeah, where is your suit?
Where's your suit, dude?
Sorry, my Pradas are the dry cleaners. The cleaners, the fucking cleaners. God fucking damn it. Pradas are the cleaners along with
My hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag.
I know it. I know the line, but it's when I'm under. And also, he's doing a fucking American accent, so it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah. Hey, Mickey.
Dude.
Where is your suit?
Yeah, where's your suit, dude?
Sorry, my Pradas are the cleaners along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag.
You really think we're going to let you parade around your ridiculous
Mickey.
Dude.
Where's your suit, man?
Yeah, man. Where's your suit, dude?
Sorry, my Pradas are the cleaners along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag.
You think we're going to let you parade around your ridiculous suit?
Hello, guys. What is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. This is episode number 58. I am joined by the OGs.
Yeah, man.
OGs indeed. You know what time of year it is? It is time for Oscar predictions, which means we had to reunite once again. Welcome back, Mickey. Welcome back, Panwa. Unfortunately, Theo couldn't be here. For any of you new watchers or listeners, the three of us plus Theo were on the very first episode of this series ever, and that was discussing the Oscars back in 2023, I want to say.
Yes.
We're kind of breaking tradition because we usually do it after, right?
No, we did it before
we
and then
do-
after.
we do two
We do
episodes.
two.
Oh.
Yeah, we do
I'm
two.
forgetting
We
about the one before then.
Dude,
Been on this podcast so many times, it
Yeah.
all blurs together. All the
It
wonderful memories, they blur together.
Great,
Indeed,
nobody
good-
cares.
Good save. But yeah, guys, like I just said, like I just mentioned, we are going to be discussing the Oscars, which is coming up at the end of next week. I don't know what it is, 98th, 99th Academy Awards.
And
Anyways,
97th, I think.
97th?
I
I
think.
thought
Is
year
it
was
Conan hosting this year?
Conan is
I'm quite
hosting this,
excited.
yeah.
That'd be a
What do you
good
guys
one.
think about Conan?
I love
like
him.
Conan.
I love
I
him.
like
He's good.
Conan,
I think he's
yeah,
good. I think
He's my
a good pick.
favorite of that group, of that lot.
Of the
What, of
Fallon-
late night
Fallon-
talk
The
shows?
Jimmys and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Seths and the
Yeah, yeah,
and all
yeah.
those
Yeah,
guys. He's the best one.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's actually a pretty good note to jump into this. So Conan's hosting.
Yeah.
Promising show, basically. I think he's never hosted before though, has he? No. So it's going to be exciting to check him out.
He's a funny guy.
He is.
He's a
he
funny
is.
guy, yeah.
I haven't seen much of him recently though. I
No,
will say.
neither.
So maybe this will be his big comeback. But yeah, guys, we are going to be going through more or less every single category of the Oscars this year. I'm going to be reading out the nominees, and we're all kind of going to give our sort of predictions, who we think will win, who we want to win, any additional snubs from the category. It's just, your classic film bro chat. So do hop along, have a listen, and play along too. So
I feel like we should start by saying, just to shave off some time.
Yeah.
Dune 2 should win everything, but it's not gonna.
Disagree.
Yeah. I know Mickey disagrees.
Yeah, I
with
know.
that.
Disagree.
But
I
yeah,
like
it
it.
it should
though.
be nominated.
I
for
really do
everything,
like
and
it, though.
It should win for most things, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna because, yay, filmmaking.
Well, we'll chat about
Yeah.
it. We'll chat
We
about
will. So I just want to give like a quick little sort of disclaimer. We won't be discussing live action short film, documentary short film, documentary feature film, or animated short film.
because
Just
we
because
haven't seen it.
None of us have actually seen it. I still haven't hopped on my New Year's resolution every single year to watch more of these kinds of films. But yeah, unfortunately, we just haven't. So the first category we are going to be discussing is original screenplay. The nominations are Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance. So straight up, guys, who do you think is going to win this category?
Real Pain.
I agree.
Who do we want to win? 3, 2, 1. Brutalist.
I don't know.
I think I want A Real Pain to win.
It's 50-50, I think. Honora could win. Sean Baker could win.
Yes, it's between Anora and Real Pain.
I think probably A Real Pain as well.
Yeah, I think
so,
A Real
yeah.
Pain is going to win. I think I want it to win just because I don't think, aside from maybe Best Supporting Actor, it's going to really win in any other category. I think this is the strongest chance it has in picking up
agree,
a second.
But can I'm just like, if there's no need to be like what's the word, like nice and just hand out awards.
No, of
You know
course
what I
not.
mean?
Of
Like-
course, I do genuinely think it's good though.
No, but I think The Brutalist is clear. I think, as we will get to, I think if not Dune 2, then Brutalist should sweep everything because it is just.
I think
Brutalist.
script-wise, like 3 of those scripts are better than A Real Pain.
Mhm.
I think The Brutalist is better. As
Anora.
A script. Anora is better, and Substance is better.
Substance is
as a
better.
Can I ask you guys?
What's the one I'm missing?
September
September 5th.
Apparently it's
I
not
haven't
even that
seen it.
good. I've heard it's not even that good.
Yeah.
A Real Pain is great though. Don't get me wrong, and it's really well written. But I think the other three are like. I mean, the Brutalist is like
It's
one of the
different,
best
yeah.
paced stories of recent years, and that's all in the script and in the directing. But it's a lot of it is in the script.
I think if I wasn't picking a real pain for my sort of favorite to win this, I would definitely go with the Brutalist. But the reason I've actually just chosen a real pain is because it's an hour and 30. The Brutalist is more than double its length. I'm just comparing it to the Brutalist for the sake of conversation, and I think that I feel like it's quite difficult to tell potentially a more compelling story within a shorter time frame than if a film has no kind of time constraints.
Yes.
I agree, between
like-
maybe like an hour and a half and 2 hours, but then it becomes progressively
story,
harder
it's
when you
3.5.
go to like 3.5.
Sure, yeah, it becomes a different
Animal.
thing.
It's
It's
an animal.
it's a different kind of
100%,
thing.
yeah.
But I just think that the number of different emotions that Jesse Eisenberg was able to conjure up in that short time frame, and just kind of have it be this kind of existential look on life without feeling pretentious, but it just being a small kind of
it's slice of life, good fun,
exactly,
well written.
exactly.
You get the gist
Exactly.
of it.
I agree.
I think a lot
really
of it
good.
is smart writing, and I think a lot of us know that Benji character very well. We all have someone
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
So on that kind of, dare I say, relatability aspect to it, I think it's very it's not pretentious.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Basically.
And if we were betting men, a real pain would win.
yeah,
Right.
the reason I would,
But
pick
it's
it-
not
the
one of the
Brutalist-
ones. I wouldn't say it's one of the ones that's like locked. I would say
Yes,
there is
yeah,
still
100%.
a bit of like probably
Oh, no, for
70,
sure,
80%
for sure,
real
for
pain.
sure.
Because Honora, like Sean Baker, has won a couple of things screenplay wise. So
The interesting thing about this season, though, I think there are no real locks, which
I disagree.
there is like
There's a few.
both supporting
we'll talk
actors.
about
are-
them. We'll
are-
talk-
okay.
We'll talk about them. So the next category we're going to is adapted screenplay, naturally, and we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. So who do we think is winning this?
I think Conclave.
I think Conclave as well.
I think Conclave as well, but I don't think it should. I think Sing
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 Sing?
should win.
Yeah?
Sing Sing is great. I watched it last night for the first time. Loved it.
Yeah,
It's a good film.
Yeah.
it is a really good film. I agree.
Yeah.
Betting men, Conclave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Conclave is
Conclave,
going
I
to take
think,
this one
yeah.
easily. It's a very
Oscar-y
film,
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Up next, we have makeup and hairstyling. So we have A Different Man, Emilia Pérez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked.
Oh, it's Nosferatu. Come on, surely.
I think The Substance is taken.
The
I
Substance
think
will win. The
is
Substance will
definitely
win.
taking it, and deservedly.
Yeah.
I think it deservedly as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Well, I forget because of what happens at the end. Yes, the
Yeah.
then it's Substance.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah?
I think the Substance for sure. But a lot of good makeup this year as well.
Yeah. I do want to say, I don't know if I would, it's necessarily, these are snubs, but just honorable mentions. I would say Dune 2 and Furiosa.
Furiosa,
have really
yeah.
good makeup
for
and
sure.
hairstyling.
I think
Like-
Furiosa got snubbed overall.
Yes,
I
definitely.
loved Furiosa.
Definitely,
I really did.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this a lot, and it was like, why didn't people go see it? Why wasn't it talked about? And I think what you said at that phone call was very right. It's like a bit of like desert fatigue.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it also came out at a time where like it's not really applicable to the Oscars now, but I loved Furiosa.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in my top 10 still.
Up next, we have visual effects. So we have Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked.
Surely
I think it's a lock for Dune.
It's
right?
gotta be Dune, yeah.
And it will also be my choice.
What was the first one? Romulus.
Alien Romulus.
I'd give it Dune. I think Dune will win.
Yeah.
For sure. And
But people
deservedly
do
so.
love motion capture. So like Planet of the Apes has a shot, but I think it's Dune.
Exactly. There's no way Better Man is winning this just because
Yeah.
there's two monkey films in
Yeah.
this. Well, three if you count Wicked, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like two monkey films and Planet of the Apes is way more.
Yeah.
Sorry, can we just cut real quick? I just want to ask an actual off-camera
yeah.
question. Just then, in the adapted or one of the screenplays, did you say a better man or a different man?
In adapted.
Yeah, there was a
Makeup and hairstyling, A Different Man.
different. They need to start renaming movies, man. They all sound the fucking same.
Yeah. Another, I don't know if it's a snub, but a shout out in the visual effects department, I thought was Mufasa.
Oh, yeah.
Great visual effects.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't see it. Is it as good as Lion King remake?
No, it's way better than the
It's
Lion King.
way
terms
better.
of
But
VFX?
VFX
Oh,
wise,
yeah.
It looks the
basically
same. It looks the
yeah.
same.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In terms of VFX,
the
is-
photorealistic.
because Lion King is one of the best VFX films like
Oh yeah, because it's
ever.
It's
Yeah.
all fake.
It's
Like,
insane.
Yeah.
Like it's photorealistic. It's insane.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Up next, we have sound. So we have A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Pérez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot.
I think Dune.
I
will
think
win
Dune's
this.
got
Yeah.
this as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Deservedly
deservedly
so as
so.
well. Yeah.
Another kind of, I want to say snub here is A Quiet Place Day 1.
Okay.
Civil War, I thought had really good
Yeah,
sound,
Civil
and
War had
Furiosa.
great
And
sound.
Furiosa.
All had brilliant
Yeah,
sound,
Civil War
so-
had really good sound.
And another one that obviously did not get nominated for anything. I think Queer can be put into that list as well. 'Cause,
In sound?
Yeah, interesting moments and bits and bobs.
Interesting.
And obviously when we get to score, I'll talk about that when we get there.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I would have put either of these in. I would swap this out for fucking Emilia Pérez.
Yeah.
So we'll get that.
Yeah, great sound. Thanks.
Music, original song.
Mm.
So we have El Mal from Emilia Pérez, The Journey from the 6668, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Pérez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late.
It's gonna be an Emilia Pérez.
Yeah, no,
song.
Emilia
It's
Pérez is
be an
going to
Emilia
win this
Pérez
for
song.
El Mal because it's been picking that up.
It would be a real shame if the song, like, because it's been nominated for 2 songs, right? It's taking up 2 spots. If someone beats it, it's like when Robert Elswit beat Roger Deakins twice.
El Mal is the one where she's on the
she's in the red velvet.
It's a great sequence.
Then it'll win that.
It's
It'll win
coming
that.
from a person who's still likes Emilia Pérez.
Oh yeah,
so
well, let's get to
it's
that
a
as
great
well because
sequence.
we're both
we will get
opinionated.
that, we will
Yeah.
get
I know. I texted Dylan. I was like, I'm ready to get smoked.
So a song that I want to say, I don't know, I haven't listened to all of these songs and the thing, but there's a song called Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl, which I haven't seen yet, but it's by Miley Cyrus. Great song. Thought it should have been nominated.
Okay.
But, music, original score is up next. So we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot.
I think it's between The Brutalist and Conclave.
I think The Brutalist is taking.
I think The Brutalist will win. Yeah.
I think so as well. Yeah.
It's a great score. It's a
Which
really
is a
great
bit
score.
odd if you think about it. I agree with that choice for the record, but I think it's a bit odd considering that Wicked and Emilia Pérez are musicals. So the score is like way more extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also has pre-existing
100%,
music.
100%, yeah.
But that's the question though, right? Because it said Hans Zimmer was disqualified because he used a certain amount of pre-existing music.
But,
so
but,
why?
But Mickey, score doesn't just because a film is a musical has no effect on the
Historically,
score.
it does like quite a lot though, doesn't
La
it?
La Land won best score and this and that.
But
you know,
there's a definite distinction between musical as in
the songs
and
and the
and the score. Like
Yeah,
created for the
100%.
film.
No, I'm with you.
So-
I'm with you. But usually in musicals, there is quite a lot of score extensively throughout as well.
Yeah, but it's also extensively bleeding
Also
from the
songs,
songs.
100%.
So it'll be like there'll be like say for
That
example
makes sense.
City of Stars.
That
right?
makes sense. Yeah.
You have the song in the film, but then you also have the theme
that
recurring.
Yeah,
throughout.
I get you. I'm
But
with you.
snubs, obviously.
Challenges.
Challengers.
That
and
is
Queer.
a massive
That is
snub.
They should have won,
Ridiculous.
basically.
Ridiculous.
Trent Reznor
Massive
as
snub.
well.
It reminds me of a couple of years ago where Justin Hurwitz won at the Golden Globes.
First Man.
Yeah, at the Golden
And it
Globes.
wasn't
First
even
Man.
nominated.
It wasn't nominated for
Yeah.
for best score. So I don't know.
That's
what's
nuts.
going on
Massive snub. Yeah.
Nuts.
Up next, we have costume design.
Oh.
So we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked.
I think it's Betting Man or not Betting Man, because like from my heart, it's like Gladiator 2 or what was the other one?
Wicked.
Nosferatu. Sorry, Nosferatu.
Can you list them again?
A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked.
It's quite insane that Dune isn't nominated.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is,
know
it
it was
is, yeah,
nominated.
yeah.
That for costume is insane. I reckon Wicked here.
I think Wicked's
Wicked.
going to win. I think I
Wicked.
want it to win as well. I
I
think
want
I'm
it to win
blown
as well,
away
yeah,
by the
yeah.
costumes.
I want it to win as well.
Gladiator.
Come on.
Gladiator.
Nah, the
The
costumes are...
Wicked
Nosferatu.
costumes are
I
mean,
ridiculous.
no,
Like, they're
I
so good.
agree, and like in Gladiator, there's like certain helmets and certain things that just look like props. Like I would not.
No, the
I really would
Nosferatu.
not.
The
Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu.
Nosferatu was
I like
good.
his. I like Bill Skarsgård's fur hat.
No, but you gotta admit, as a very like vocal John M. Chu hater, you have to admit that the
Yeah.
costume.
Yeah, they were well dressed.
Production
They were
design,
the production design was
and they-
amazing.
they-
for
they-
Wicked.
Yes.
They create an entire world
Yes.
that doesn't exist with the.
No,
costumes
fair
as well.
enough.
So
Like
it's
if
a
Wicked
very
wins, it makes
extensive
sense.
film, yeah.
Completely makes sense. I'm just a hater.
Up next, we have production design.
Yeah.
So The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked.
Can I
Go
quick,
for it,
real
go
quick?
for it.
One of the compliments though I would give to Brutalist just early on is obviously it's a movie about architecture, right?
Yep.
So The Brutalist being nominated for production design and not winning is like Phantom Thread being nominated for costume design and not winning.
It will win because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't
I
think
disagree.
it's got the best.
I
disagree.
agree.
design.
I
I
agree.
disagree.
You think a different
I
thing will
disagree.
win? You think Wicked or Dune?
I think Wicked is going to win,
Yeah.
and I think it should win.
I agree that it should win, actually.
Yes.
I really do.
I think
but I
Wicked they
think
did an amazing
Brutalist
job.
will win purely because it's a film
About
about production
architecture.
design.
I don't think so. I think if you look at The Brutalist, incredible film.
I agree.
But it's about an architect, but it's not really about the architecture.
I
though,
agree.
is it?
I'm with
Like,
you
that's the-
completely. We're on the same page. But they will give it to it purely because
of that.
I think they're going to give it to Wicked.
And I
think
think
they're going to give it to Wicked.
Brutalist has the most production designy scene, which is when he makes
The
a
library.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you know. But Wicked is like, what I love. I will compliment the movie. It is really well designed, specific to the musical sequences. That, you know, like that bit where Jonathan Bailey runs around.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's
it's like
really cool.
that stuff was designed on purpose, and the intentionality behind that, I think, is something to praise.
Yeah.
I really,
Dune's
really,
great.
really love Brutalist. Probably my
Yeah.
favorite film of the year. But both Dune and Wicked have better production design.
Yes, I agree.
Purely because of the extensiveness of the world building.
Yeah.
Like it is.
It's a world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what you said as well about like how production design isn't just an afterthought, it's actually integrated within the sequences,
Yeah.
wide the actors
yeah,
themselves
yeah.
as well.
And
so.
the truth is, you can never get the production design those films have unless you're a blockbuster, unless you have like
Unless you have that
200
budget.
million, etc.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, Brutalist for what it is,
Is
insane,
amazing. It's
insane.
It's great. It's
But
brilliant.
those films are still like, they're just next level in terms of just the building of all
Yeah.
these sets and things. and-
A weird one. I don't. This was before we actually any one of us ever met, but there was one of my biggest snubs ever for me was Ad Astra. I thought that should have won production design for the year that it came out in,
Oh.
and I don't even think it was
Is
nominated.
that the space film?
It's the
with
Brad Pitt
Brad
Brad
that was
Pitt,
shot
and
by
the
Hoyte van
monkey?
Hoytema. Yeah, with the monkeys.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I
Rewatch
remember
it. It has
that. I remember
it looks incredible.
Oh,
It looks like the
Hoyte van Hoytema.
colors and stuff are
Yeah.
insane in that film. Up next, we have international feature film. I think this is a lock, but I'm Still Here from Brazil. The Girl with the Needle, Denmark. Emilia Pérez, France. The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, and Flow from Latvia.
Can I just
Emilia
say,
Pérez will
Emilia,
win.
it'll win. We'll talk about like Emilia Pérez, the Mexican movie, is from France.
Yeah.
Produced
but
in
then
France.
again, The
Yeah.
Seed of the Sacred Fig, which I want to win, is an Iranian film, but it's German.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They-
right.
It's the head financier.
Yeah.
like-
But
When is the time to talk about Emilia Perez?
yeah, can we talk about Emilia Pérez?
Can I?
I
Go,
think it's a
go,
good point.
go,
I think it's a
go.
good point. Actually, no. I'll start this off. So I haven't actually vocally said it, talked much about Emilia Pérez on the podcast at all. So because I was sort of saving it for Oscar season. As someone who probably, like most, doesn't really resonate or like the film, I genuinely think it is a bad film. I am genuinely fascinated. I really want to hear you guys' thoughts. I'm genuinely fascinated as to what you guys took from the film,
Yeah.
or
My one's
sort of-
less offensive. Do you want me to go first? My one's less controversial for once.
Okay.
Just real quick, he told me that it was quite exciting. You know, he was excited for it. He met someone in Cannes or something
Oh,
that
wow.
was involved in it, and I was like, I'm quite excited for it. So I
Yeah.
sat down and I watched it on Netflix on the first day, and I was just like, this is like a weird drug lord thing with a musical, and you know, like a sex change is happening halfway through. And you know me, I like movies that take risks. I like movies that risk offending people and do crazy shit for the sake of doing crazy shit, because it's cinema. It's not meant to be realistic. It's meant to be experimental and fun and weird.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is quite creative and it's really unique, and they've taken a bunch of different genres and combined it together, sometimes well, sometimes not so well. The acting was pretty good, you know, especially by Zoe Saldana, and at least, you know, it's a movie with personality. It has personality, it has character, but I came away from it thinking, yeah, it was good. But I didn't think it was going to be nominated for everything, and I think because it has,
Yep.
and it's effectively taken the place of Challengers and Dune and all the movies I actually love. I'm like, fuck that movie, because there are movies that are so much better that should be in the spots that this film has taken up. But if it wasn't nominated for all of this stuff and it was just a film that was on Netflix as an interesting indie, I probably would have liked it a lot more. And just gone,
I fully agree with Panwa. Like, that's literally my opinion as well. It's like, I thought it was, I don't think it's groundbreaking. Like, I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I thought it was very innovative. It takes risks. It works most of the time. Sometimes it fails, like, very dramatically, but I actually kind of liked that it failed dramatically sometimes because it's something new and it's something exciting. I didn't know literally anything about it going in. I knew that it was a Mexican musical. That's all I knew, with Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez. That's all I knew. And to be honest, I'm going to call out some of the hypocrisy on the internet, because I saw this film, and Pano is very, very right in what he's saying, because I went to Cannes where it premiered, and the response was super positive. Like, I was there after the premiere, and people really enjoyed it overall. Then I saw it at BFI, also pretty positive. Then it came out and it started getting like a little, I don't know if you remember the whole timeline of like the hate the film got, but when it came out, it wasn't like, it didn't come out and the next day everybody's like, oh, this is a piece of garbage, what is it, etc. It started like building up and building up and building up to the point where like now people are
Everyone
saying
hates
it's
it.
this like hot piece of trash that is like sweeping everything, where it's really not. Like I think I agree. I wouldn't nominate it for quite a few things if it's like it's not in my top 10 of the year, but it's not actually that far. And I think it's just like a pretty good film, and I think the public opinion on it and the perception just continued building and building and building until now it's like this thing where people think it's horrible. And I'm actually more curious to hear your thoughts about why you really didn't like it.
Real quick before you give your 2 cents, I think part of the hate comes from again, hypocrisy of movie-going audiences. People go, how many times have me and you sat on this couch and go, we really don't like a certain film because it felt so inoffensive, because it felt so safe and so stale. And finally, here comes along a movie that is potentially going to offend people. And then it was like, oh my God, it's like Eternals, right?
No,
Marvel fans are like, you know what the thing with Eternals?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we want something new. Finally, they make Eternals, go, oh no, we don't want it. So it's like, what do you want?
I don't even see it from like an offensive perspective, to be honest. I see it more from just like a experimental filmmaking perspective. Like it takes risks both in its plot
and creatively,
just about what it is, but also it's a musical, but also creatively it does a lot of like, I'm not saying they work all the time. In fact, like half the time they probably don't, but you can't not admit that a lot of the stuff it tries is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't maybe succeed, but there is really brilliance in there.
And also, it's been damaged by people over politicizing movies.
Okay,
which is the whole conversation.
Dylan is like,
okay. I hear you, but I hear you both.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, of course, the film wouldn't have got hated on nearly as much if it wasn't nominated for so much, if it hadn't got so much critical acclaim from the Academy, etc. People wouldn't think to look twice back at this film. The way I experienced this film was I missed it at BFI Festival. I didn't hear a lot from it. I heard some people saying it was all right. Some people didn't like it, but very few people had spoken about it. Me and Clara sat down finally one night. This is before it started receiving a lot of hate. Sat down, watched it on Netflix. I remember watching some of the musical numbers in this scene and rolling my eyes and genuinely thinking, what the fuck is this? In terms of being a musical, I don't think it is at all in any way groundbreaking. I think the writing for the songs are bad.
Yeah,
I agree.
They are straight up bad.
I think the music is bad. Like
the music is awful. It's
bad
so bad.
Music. I agree.
It's
I
really
agree.
bad. It doesn't have any musical tissue whatsoever. I remember watching it and the credits started to roll and I literally turned to Clara and I literally was like, was it me or was that bad? Like, was that actually bad? And here was I thinking like Clara was gonna be like, what are you talking about? That would I really enjoyed it, but no. Also, like, I think it was bad. But even still, I was like, okay, that was interesting. I woke up the next morning and I was just like, I thought it was bad, but I didn't think it was like the worst film ever. I woke up the next morning and I thought about it more and I was like, what the fuck was that film? Anyways, didn't think twice about it afterwards. Wasn't really good at planning on returning to it. And now, obviously, all of this controversy has happened, and a lot of the things are obviously incredibly just bad. Obviously, I won't actually go into detail because I actually don't want to talk about the controversy because I think that takes away from the movie.
It's a very difficult film to speak about because it's so like it's so divisive purely in like people's opinion on its just the depth it has and the weight it has. But it's also so controversial because of all these
the behind the scenes stuff.
So I think it's important, as you said, we gotta like separate
the art from the artist.
Separate
the art from the artist.
Or the making or any of that. We watch it as a film and that's it.
100%. I am really interested with you guys when you say the film takes risks. What risks does it take? Because in my eyes, it takes no risks whatsoever. It is as if you gave a primary school student a creative writing task to write a piece on like a trans person that involves some kind of crime. The crime elements don't work whatsoever. The trans elements or this story about a person transitioning doesn't work. It doesn't focus anything on that transition. So I'm talking from a character perspective. I don't understand the character. I don't. Forget about, whether or not it's offensive to the trans community. Like, sure. But like, I'm talking about the film specifically. The characters are not developed. They are not fleshed out characters. The performances, I think Zoe Saldana is great. And I think I really like Zoe Saldana, and to see her be so passionate about a film is you can't help but love her. But the film I like that she's representing, or the whatever, I don't think this is it. I'm glad that she's able to be so passionate and so enthusiastic about it, but I really don't. I don't see much merit to the film, even the filmmaking. To be honest, it's a musical. The musical aspects are shit. The cinematography as well.
I like the cinematography. The cinematography is actually some of the most risk-taking cinematography.
Go.
Okay.
I think it tries so many things in terms of composition and framing and the movement of the camera.
Yes.
And I think, I will say this for the record, it's a personal opinion. It's not like a critique. I don't think it's a good-looking film, but I think they do. I'm 10. They try very unique things with the lighting.
Yeah.
I don't think it works for me, but
they tried.
It is a different looking film.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I mean, I can go in depth with like specific examples. I also saw it like 5 months ago. But the biggest risk it takes is that it's a dramatic musical about a Mexican cartel head transitioning.
Yeah.
That's already like that log line is like,
can I
what the fuck?
maybe my last thing about this film, because I really don't want to talk about and go into that rabbit hole of over politicizing films. I'm not going to talk about that. I will say that I think if this film had a personality, if this Emilia Pérez was a person, Emilia Pérez is the arrogant, ignorant, narcissistic attention seeker who walks into every room and wants to be the center of attention. And no matter how much and how hard you try, you can't help but talk about them afterwards. And that's exactly what we're doing now. So for people who don't like Emilia Pérez, you're allowing the film to succeed actually by having a 45-minute rant about it online, because the film has now succeeded. It is won.
I honestly think we need more films like Emilia Pérez.
I do too.
I really do.
We need more narcissistic, arrogant.
We do.
The film is unfortunately going to be remembered, but unfortunately, it is not going to be remembered for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I can't.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't want to. I can't agree with the idea that you can sit down and talk about the film, and it succeeds. It doesn't succeed to me. Sure, it's racked up a lot of nominations, but for what? Why has the Academy nominated the film? Because it thinks it's being progressive, because it takes risk. It talks about so many different aspects, but doesn't have a clue of how to develop or handle any of them. Mm-hmm. So all of it.
I agree, and there is a lot of why the Academy nominated it is because of political reasons.
Yeah.
So that's why this whole situation is so complicated, because it's difficult to even talk about the quality of the film without talking about the political aspects of it, because the political aspects actually affect the way we perceive the quality, even if we separate it. So it's a very but I think trying to separate myself from all of that, I always go back to the very first time I saw it without knowing any of this, and I didn't know what the film was about. I saw it at 8 a.m. and I was like, this is really cool. That's genuinely, that would sum up my thoughts. I was like, I don't love it, I don't hate it, but it's really cool, and I want more of it.
100. When I watched it for the first time, I thought I want to like this. I'm interested in the ideas. Like to throw into the mix all these crazy ideas is admittedly a bold thing to do. And of course, whenever I want to sit down and watch a film, I want to be riveted by what I'm saying. I want to see new things, right? But I just think that the manner and the way in which the film goes about it is just
wrong.
It's just wrong. It's almost as if you're doing all these things
to hide the fact that you actually have a shit film.
It is ultimately a shit.
Can I just say, I actually clocked this just then. We were making this stupid social network thing at the beginning. Emilia Pérez is Justin Timberlake as Sean Parker. Basically, he founded Napster, is doing a bunch of that. And what does he say at the restaurant? He goes, and I pissed a lot of people off. And that's the whole point. The guy's just a shit house. He's just a shit stirrer. And Emilia Pérez, do you really think the director cares that we're talking about this right now? He's probably laughing his ass off.
I do think we see pretty much eye to eye. I think maybe me and maybe Pano as well, but I'm more like a glass half full type of guy in terms of the film, whereas you're more like a glass half empty, but we have the same glass. You know what I mean?
Move on.
Dylan is like, I think my glass is a little bit more fucking empty than yours.
I don't think there's any liquid in the glass. I think it was never full. I don't think it was ever used. I mean, look, we could go on about Emilia Pérez. I think it's just like I said, I think people wouldn't be talking about this as if it was one of the worst films ever made if it hadn't got so
much love.
I agree.
For sure. It is not the worst film ever made. No, but I'm sorry, and to be honest, if you should take away anything from this whole Emilia Pérez sort of popularity, it is that the Oscars are really not a true reflection of what
Oh,
a good
yeah,
film
yeah.
is.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get to
It's
that when
just
we get to
not.
Best
It's got
Picture. Like, oh my
13
God.
nominations, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is not. It really is not statistically.
It has the same as like
Um,
Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
The other thing
No.
I'd say is watch it. Like honestly,
yeah,
like
yeah.
And
so,
make
no,
your
but
own
so
mind
many
up. Yeah.
people don't watch it.
Exactly,
And like watch
exactly,
it, and if
exactly.
you hate it, you hate it. If you like it, you like it. Like just
I feel like a lot of people hate on the movie before they've even watched
Can
it.
I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
I was at work. Yeah, I was walking around the offices, the office, and I had a few people because they know that I talk about film and whatever, and they were like, "Dylan, have you seen Emilia Pérez?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Is it really that bad?" And I'm like,
Watch it.
"You know, watch it, make your own mind
Yeah,
up." I
yeah.
thought it was really bad, but like, go and check it out and make your own mind up. And then like, I was walking away, and they were like, "Man to woman." Legit, they've literally only seen like that scene.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
see what I mean?
I actually hate that clip went viral.
Yes.
That really pissed me off because it takes away from the context of the fact that that's supposed to be a campy scene. That's the last thing I'm gonna say, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
But the fact that like, yeah, you can clip fucking anything from any movie and like make it look silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It is a bit of a silly song, but it's supposed to be a silly
Yeah.
song.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
anyway.
gosh. Anyways, so that's the episode, guys. No. So up next. Oh no, we were talking about international feature film. Yeah, it's basically a lock for Emilia. Pérez.
Yes. Yeah.
Do I think it should win? No, I want the Seed of the Sacred Fig to win. That was we watched it a couple weeks ago.
Danish film, right?
No, it's
Oh.
So it's a German. Well, it's German.
The girl with the
Iranian.
needle is Danish, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Denmark. It's from Denmark. Yeah, I thought that film was the film for the most part was pretty brilliant, and I haven't seen I'm Still Here yet.
No,
I
neither.
was
No,
planning
me
on
neither.
trying to catch it before.
Apparently
the
it's
I
out
was
now
I
in
was
the
I
UK.
was
Yeah, it
hoping
is.
to watch it yesterday, but I couldn't.
yeah. Apparently it's very good.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to checking that out. But Emilia Pérez is.
Please excuse our ignorance.
Up next we have animated feature film. So we have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot.
Wild Robot.
Wild Robot takes it. I haven't seen it,
It's
but I
amazing.
loved
Ooh,
Flow.
I disagree.
loved Flow.
I
You think Flow
disagree.
would-
What you think? You think
I think
Inside
Flow's
Out
gonna.
has-
I think Flow's gonna take it. I haven't seen it, but it just seems to be the thing.
Flow is so good.
I think
I love
Flow's
Flow.
gonna take it. Do I? Who do I want to win?
Wild Robot.
Bit of a road
Memoir
pick.
of a Snail.
Memoir of a Snail,
Oh,
which I
no.
watched last week.
Oh wow.
Mm.
I thought it was. I'd never seen an animated film like that, and it managed to mix so many. This is a film that actually manages to balance so many different existential elements well.
Yeah.
In a
Unlike
short-
Emilia Pérez.
unlike Emilia Pérez, in a short amount of time. And yes, it does have animation as a palette to its advantage in this case. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
You've seen both Wild Robot
Yeah.
and Flow, right?
I have not seen Flow.
I
What
haven't
is
seen
what is
Flow,
a
I haven't seen
Flow?
Oh, okay. I've seen Flow,
the
and
cat
I
one.
haven't
It's the
seen.
cat
Wild
Oh, it's the
Robot.
cat one,
Okay,
right?
Cat
okay.
one, yeah.
Yeah, the Wild Robot's really cool. I wouldn't be upset if it won, but
Flow has no dialogue. Do you know?
yeah.
I'm gonna watch it now.
Has
I'm gonna
no
watch it now.
dialogue.
But in case you guys haven't figured out yet, don't get us our opinions for betting because we haven't seen anything and we just talking about movies.
Well,
at
we
this
have
point.
seen most.
No,
of
no,
it.
no, no, no,
Like,
no.
like I'd say like 90% of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
We'll be right about most of
Do
this
you think
stuff, to be
Transformers
fair.
1 was snubbed?
So what's it?
Transformers
it's,
1.
it's good. It's good. It's good. Again, I don't know if it's
Flip,
Oscar
like,
good, but it's like yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Up next, we have film editing. So we have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, and Wicked.
The Brutalist will win 100%.
The Brutalist will
The
win.
Academy always awards the longest film, and rightfully
Oh.
so. 100%.
But
will be
in
The
this
Brutalist.
case, can I just give a bit of love for Conclave actually? Because that was my favorite element about the technical side of Conclave. It's actually like the most Oscar baity film, as we've said, of the
Yep.
group. And on paper, when you watch the trailer and everything, you're like, yeah, this is an Oscar bait movie. But they edit that thing like it's an action movie. It's so tight and sharp and fast and
Yeah.
like punchy, despite the fact that all the shots are like static and
All of-
everyone's
all of
slow.
that entire
you know?
category are all very well
It's a
edited.
really
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
really good.
Like very
one.
well edited, yeah.
So if Conclave wins, I'll be really happy. But betting man, Brutalist.
Yeah. Do you think Dune was snubbed for this, Joe Walker?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Dune was snubbed for everything.
Okay, so up next we have cinematography. So we have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Pérez, Maria, Nosferatu.
So many good ones.
I think Brutalist is winning.
I think
I
think
want
Brutalist-
Dune to win. It won't win.
Yeah.
Brutalist is going to
I'm
win.
actually with you guys here. See, I give Dune.
Oh.
I actually, I'm reverse. I'm reverse.
What?
No, purely because I think it's like, it is desert
There's
fatigue.
no way.
It's desert fatigue.
There's no way
Doesn't-
Brutalist.
I don't-
No,
it
for
doesn't
me,
ma-
my personal opinion, as in, I would like Brutalist to actually win. I think it's a
Interesting.
whole other like.
That is the most unlike.
Unlike-
That's
Yeah.
so bizarre. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah.
You guys like swap
We
bodies. or
swap
some
bodies.
shit.
No, because I think Greg Fraser already has one for Dune. If he's gonna win another one, win one for Batman. Like
No.
mind you, he improved so much when he did the first time around, and it's. But I just do think it's like you get what I mean. Like Andrew Leslie did not win 3 for Lord of the Rings. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
he did for Return of the King.
No, but as in like, did he win Fellowship Best Cinematography?
No,
2
no.
times? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think give the other kids a shot because they did such a good job and
It
it's
is a
such
good
a good
point.
year for
But you
visuals.
just went back on what you said at the start of the episode, which is
Dune should
Should
win everything.
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, Dune should win everything, but you should give out awards just because someone
That's
else
also
can have
true.
it.
No. But my thing is, Brutalist is genuinely. It was the
Really
one where I
good as
watched.
well.
I'm like,
It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
no. How about this? I watched Dune Part 2, and I was wowed by it so much. But I would watch Brutalist, and I was like, I've learned something new about cinematography.
I agree.
And
with
I
this,
watched
actually.
Nosferatu, and I'm like, actually, I've learned something new. Like watching Nosferatu, I've made certain different decisions now in how I would shoot something. Watching Brutalist, I'm like, you've opened up a kind of a new world to me, and we'll get to that.
I
when
do
we
agree.
praise the
I do
Brutalist.
agree.
Sure, but the only reason you're saying that is because we've seen Dune Part 1.
Exactly, that's
the
my
only-
point. Yeah,
if you
yeah.
hadn't seen Dune Part 1, if you went straight to Dune Part 2,
Yeah.
and you looked at some of those images, the way
Yeah.
they're constructed,
Yeah.
how they impact the storytelling. It's on another level. Brutalist, I think, is also deservedly a good
Both
winner.
are really well
They're both
shot.
really
And Nosferatu's really well
Yeah.
shot.
Nosferatu's really good
all
as
of them
well.
are really
And what
well
else?
shot.
Maria's also stunning,
I
by the way.
haven't
For
seen it.
anyone who
I haven't
hasn't,
seen Marina
it's
either,
stunning.
yeah.
What's the other one?
Hey guys, you know what's not good?
Was-
Amelia Perez.
Oh, was that nominated as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I just pretend to ignore
Yeah.
that.
Snub queer.
Yes, and challenges. Challenges
Oh,
purely for the
Challengers,
tennis ball bit. Like,
yeah.
it's so
Challenges
cool.
is cool.
Challengers. Challengers has so much fucking coverage.
Yeah.
Did you clock that?
Yeah.
Every scene
It's shot from
is
100
shot
different
from
angles.
like 80 angles.
Yeah.
It is insane, like bizarre.
Yeah. Although more cinematography isn't necessarily
better
good.
cinematography.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
as
yeah,
like a
yeah,
fun
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Yeah, like Furiosa, Snub, I would say.
Mm.
Even you know what? Like I put Monkey Man in there just for fun because it's just so like energetic and fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving on.
Fair enough. Up next, big category here. We've got Best Director. So we have Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, and Coralie Fargeau for The Substance.
The answer is Denis Villeneuve.
yeah.
I disagree completely here. I really do. I think in terms
Take
of
it away.
directing, in terms of mastering the
It's
story,
Brutalist.
it is 100% the Brutalist.
It is
like,
Brutalist,
there is no argument that Dune is probably just a more logistically complicated film to direct, but in terms of just telling a story that is about everything, that is 3.5 hours long, that
is a
feels like it's an hour and a half,
Complete, cohesive,
that is super
coherent
cohesive
experience.
and deep in every way. Like it is
It's
the Brutalist.
Brutalist.
It's one of the best directed films, one of the most like masterful examples of how to both control tone and pace and style is the Brutalist.
It's such a tightrope walk.
I agree.
I respect this guy so much. Also, how do you say his name? Is it Corbett or
Corbet or
Corbet?
Corbet?
I've
Corbet,
been
right?
saying Corbett.
I
but
say
think-
Corbett,
Cor-
but just
I
to
say
not be
Corbet, but
just to not be pretentious.
Yeah.
Brady Corbet.
Corbet.
Yeah. But I think I really think he deserves it.
It's
here,
such a
by
labor of
far.
love. It is such a you know what the thing is like I've been missing this about movies, but you know how they talk about food and food is made with love. The Brutalist is made with love. Like that guy labored night and day, and you know that he knows that movie back to front.
Yeah.
He knows every cut, how long it is. He knows every line. He knows everything
I think
about
that's
his movie.
that's also the case. Just to throw a bit of love with Sean Baker and with
Anora.
the Substance as well.
Yes,
Uh,
both great films.
because they're both really well directed as well.
Yep.
Very like I think I was gonna say this at Best Picture, but this is actually the year where I have had the most of my personal favorites also be nominated.
Nice.
I think it's been a very good year for like
Smaller movies.
like smaller movies, but also like really unique direction
Mhm.
and like really interesting choices.
So
and
there's a nice range of.
there is a nice
stories.
range, and I think a lot of the films that should have been nominated are, with a few snubs, of course, as we're talking about.
Guadagnino, basically.
But I think it's like
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
like that entire category. I haven't seen a Complete Unknown, but that entire category is really
Even
well
going Complete Unknown is really well because James
It's really
Mangold
good,
is one
yeah.
of those guys who like he makes everything better.
Yeah,
Like James Mangold will just pick up an awful script and make it good. Like he's that guy.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna get a well-made movie if you go and watch James Mangold movie.
No, I agree. He's a very safe director
Yeah.
in that regard. I think, I agree with you. I think Brady Corbet is.
But if
is
we were
deserved
betting
of it.
men,
I think Brady Corbet.
I think Brady
I think it
Corbet,
could go to
yeah,
Sean Baker. I
I'd
have
like
a
to
feeling
see it go to
actually,
Sean
yeah.
Baker because I think it's his best film.
I
so
think
far.
Sean might take it purely because like he probably just it's kind of what Pano was
he's more
saying.
experienced, and
He's-
Brady Corbet is
he-
younger. And
I mean, Sean Baker's been doing this like in proper
Yeah.
indie. Like the dude is like a
He's
real
Mr.
like,
Indie.
He's like Mr. Indian. He's been like grafting at this for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he probably like deserves it a little bit more purely based on career achievements, but The Brutalist is a better
Well, this
directed
is an
film.
interesting topic of conversation because people have been saying that there is now is running the risk of the Oscars being a lifetime achievement award, not a specific.
Well,
one
that's
to the
kind of
movie. Like,
with
people said that was Jamie Lee Curtis.
well, we'll get. Let's
Everything
wait.
Everywhere.
Let's
Jesus,
wait
remember.
for best leading actress for this conversation.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Okay, I get what. Yeah. I see what your goal.
So up next we have actress in a supporting role. So we have Monica Barbaro, Ariana Grande, Felicity Jones, Isabella Rossellini, and Zoe Saldana. I mean,
So-
it's more or less a
Saldana.
So
lot.
those are that, but Felicity Jones should win.
You think?
For me, like I would like her to win. She was so good. She
I don't
was
really have
so
any
good.
strong opinions on this category. You know, I think they're all like very.
And
good.
also, Monica Barbaro was my favorite thing about her. Completely.
Oh,
No.
she's
Mm,
great.
Aura.
I've heard
Aura.
really good
Great.
things.
She's
I've
so
heard really
good.
good things.
Everyone's really good.
Mm.
Everyone's really good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Felicity Jones, she's only in the second half of the movie. And she does more work there than some of these people do in their entire movies. Like,
Yeah.
that's the compliment. Like that. And I think she has one of my favorite scenes, acting scenes, is the big confrontation at the end of Brutalist. She, like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's great.
amazing.
I think Zoe Saldana. Well, she'll. You know, I think she's great in it, and she will probably take it deservedly so. But she'll probably also take it because she's the lead in that film.
Yeah.
Oh,
And also, a lot of
it's
people have been
ridiculous.
saying because Emilia Pérez has basically been cancelled, does that mean that Ariana Grande, because it's the most popular one,
We'll
could
get
win?
there, we'll get
right?
there, we'll
So,
get
yeah.
So yeah, I think Zoe Saldana will win this easily. I wouldn't be too sad if Ariana Grande actually won it.
I wouldn't be too sad.
I think
either.
she's great.
She's
I
great.
like
She's
her
I
good.
think
too.
she was my favorite part about
I
Wicked.
liked her as
Yeah.
well.
The
yeah,
acting was my favorite thing about
I
Wicked.
really liked
Yeah,
her.
And she
yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
She was
Do you think
really
there's any chance she wins and she gives a shout out to Hampstead? The fact that she was in Hampstead.
Oh my
Have you
God.
seen- she's done an interview with Ali Plum. Do you know Ali Plum?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was talking about when she was filming Wicked in London. She's like,
Mm.
I was in Hampstead. I loved going on the heath with the dogs. It's so,
So
cool.
funny.
I'll
That's
send you the
so
video.
funny.
It's
Okay.
so good. So yeah, Zoe Saldana's got this locked.
And she's great too.
She is.
Yeah. Any snubs here? I've wrote down. Don't know if it's a snub, but Margaret Qualley for The Substance.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Lily Rose Depp.
That's
for
a lead, though.
Nosferatu.
That's a lead.
That is a lead,
And that's a lead that
100%,
should have been
yeah.
nominated.
That's true.
I agree with Margaret Qualley. Yeah.
Who would you take out of that category?
I haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet,
Okay.
but I've heard really good things. And so we have A Complete Unknown. We have
Isabella
Ariana
Rossellini
Grande.
for
Isabella
Yeah, but Isabella
Rossellini.
Rossellini, as much as I love her, was in the movie for like 5 minutes.
That's what I was gonna say.
She's
it
in the
was a
movie for
great
5
part,
minutes.
but it was such a small part. Like
She's in the movie for
very,
5
very
minutes.
small.
She has
Do
like
you thi-
one major scene.
Do you think it's like a lifetime kind of?
No. I
nomination,
think it's
or-
like have you seen the movie Network? I think the supporting actress for Network beat the world record for the shortest amount of screen time to win an Oscar, and she was in the movie for like 4 minutes. And so it happens, and it was a good 4 minutes. But
Yeah.
like, I was
Yeah, she's really good in it,
Yeah.
but it's not like that much
Yeah.
material. Purely,
Yeah.
you know.
First.
moving on.
Actor in a supporting role. So we have Yura Borisov,
Hmm.
we have Kieran Culkin, Edward Norton, Guy Pearce, and Jeremy Strong. Firstly,
Culkin takes it.
Culkin
Yeah.
takes it. Culkin takes it.
100%. I have a
Oh, okay,
different
okay.
Are you
opinion.
Yuri?
You go.
No, you guys are gonna say. Most people say that Jeremy Strong should take it.
Yeah.
I think Yura Borisov should take it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
think Yura Borisov is fucking incredible.
He's
in
the
Nora.
secret weapon of
He
Anora.
is. He's the heart. Like not the heart.
He
but
is. He is the heart of Anora.
A massive part of what makes that film work, and he's like mesmerizing. Man.
He's so
like,
good.
He's so organic and truthful. I thought he was brilliant.
And
So
I
think
would also say, speaking of editing and stuff, his performance is heightened by the editing.
100%.
Because they slowly but surely kind of just
100%.
seep him into the movie.
And I think
and he kind of marinates his way into the
he
movie.
wasn't gonna
basically.
get nominated before people started like talking about it so much.
The guy's
that
amazing.
He is a big part in it.
When
And I
we
was
sat down
so,
and spoke
so
about Anora, we spoke about him
Yeah.
a lot.
I was
Boosh,
so
boosh.
happy he got nominated. He really, 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 really deserves it. He's
Yeah.
fantastic in it. And
But also,
I,
Guy Pearce, speaking about the quantity
yeah.
and the volume, Guy Pearce.
there's
He's great.
all of the performances are
Amazing.
fantastic in this
Amazing.
category. Like
Yeah.
all of them. Jeremy Strong is insanely good as well.
Kieran's great.
Jeremy's so strong. So Kieran Culkin, I thought was brilliant. I haven't really seen Kieran Culkin in anything, which is why I don't have a problem when people say he's just playing himself.
Yeah.
So that didn't have an effect
yeah.
on me. And he was brilliant in the film. And similarly, Jeremy Strong for me, I haven't seen too much. I've seen him in The Big Short. I haven't seen
you
Succession.
haven't seen
I haven't seen
Succession? That's
Succession.
both
This is
of
probably
these.
Basically,
why.
that approach is like the complete opposite.
I mean,
Yeah.
like like Kieran Culkin is a lot more similar in Succession to what he is in Real Pain than Jeremy Strong. Like a lot more.
But my choice ultimately would actually be Jeremy Strong because I think he like transforms that film.
He's great.
Drives that, and he's so brilliant. And for a film about the title character, I think that's the character. Jeremy Strong's character is the one you remember the most.
Interesting.
I honestly wouldn't be mad if any one of these four got it. It's a very stacked category.
Edward Norton is also good though.
Yes, he is.
He's amazing.
He's not going to win, but he's good. Any snubs? Denzel Washington, Gladiator 2, Josh O'Connor for Challengers? No,
I wouldn't really take anybody out. Anybody of these guys.
Yeah.
Great. So moving on, we have actress in a leading role.
Okay.
So we have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Pérez, Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still.
Can I just say, because I'm a football fan, I thought her name was Fernando Torres for a second. I was like,
I'm laughing as if I fucking know who that is.
He's a Spanish football.
Fernando Torres.
I'm football.
Whatever.
Like,
so. Basically, is it Mikey or is it Demi?
I think
Mikey's gonna.
I think it's gonna be Mikey.
I think it's gonna be Mikey.
I think it should be Mikey.
Yes, I agree.
100%. I think Demi is fantastic. Like Substance, incredible film. Demi, fantastic. But Mikey is Honora.
She is the movie,
and there is just so much more in terms of the spectrum of emotions, in terms of carrying the weight, in terms of everything. Like it's a much more like just full art.
Well, you know what it is, mate. I'm sure you've clocked this because his film is the name of his film is the name of the character.
Yeah.
And whenever you make a movie where the name of the film is the name of the character, there's instantly 10 times more pressure on the actor because then you literally are the film.
Yeah.
And Mikey is Honora. And I said this in my our end of the year thing. If you take her out of the movie, like I'm just gonna say it. Honora can exist without Sean Baker, but it can't exist without Mikey Madison.
I disagree.
Well, whatever.
Hard
but
disagree.
She's so amazing in that movie, and she owns it. She has like maybe not exist without it, but I feel like she has more of like if it's a pie chart, she has more shares of Honora than Sean Baker.
I think it's
in my
like
opinion.
probably pretty equal, if not a little bit more to Sean Baker. But she has a big portion of that pie chart. We can agree
She's amazing.
I think it's interesting because Mikey Madison or Sean Baker, the entire team have given attention to a character or a person who in normal conventional films would get like a minute or 2 minute scene. I'm more thinking of along the lines of say something like Uncut Gems. You have characters who resonate that kind of energy around. But they're never the
But he's made that the protagonist.
But he's explored that in such an interesting way. Sean Baker's a person like we were saying before, explores very taboo subjects, and I think combined with Mikey Madison, there's a real vulnerability to that.
For sure,
and I was thinking about sex workers in a different way after seeing that film, and like how a lot of the time they're so sort of dehumanized, I guess.
100%.
And this film does the complete opposite.
100%.
So yeah, and I think for her, an actress who has only been in kind of supporting roles here and there, and obviously Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Scream, these kind of things, to see that that Cinderella story happened to her as well. It's so great, and I'm so happy she won the BAFTA as well.
Well, I think the beauty of Honora is that it is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think that's like. No, okay. That because the whole thing of when this year they're saying Sydney Sweeney, Margaret Qualley, Austin Butler, Mikey Madison, they were all in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I think the whole point is that it is this kind of fairy tale of the American dream, the Hollywood dream of you are a young actor, you do the work, you get this big shot at stardom, and it's happened. And I think that is the beauty of Hollywood, and I think the Oscars are actually going to give themselves a lot of favors and do a lot for themselves, just like for their brand, by acknowledging this person and basically creating someone's career.
I mean, if Mikey wins, like she's the next big, like she's the new Margot Robbie in terms of like leading roles.
I think she already is to a certain extent. I think she's.
But
already
the Oscar is
it's
the nail in the coffin is the thing,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And if we were betting men, are we doing Mikey?
I would say Mikey, but I don't think it's a lock at all. I think this is one of the most like. I
think it's a very much like Kate Blanchett, Michelle Yeoh situation.
Well, it's a Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, right? And it's it's what is it? Glenn Close and Emma and Olivia Colman for favorites in that movie. That
Olivia
Close
Colman
did.
was sweeping that.
No, Glenn Close was winning everything, and then Olivia Colman won the BAFTA or something.
Well, that's kind of how it is here,
because
Demi has won most, and then Mikey has won like the BAFTA and
so I think the best actress category is notoriously like the most like 50-50.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think Demi Moore was like, when she went to the BAFTA, she was like, yep, I'm going to pick this one up as well. I was like, wait, what? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy for Mikey Madison for sure. Any snubs? Not a snub, but
Lily Rose Depp.
my favorite performance from last year, funnily enough, was Naomi Scott in Smile 2. I thought she was
Oh
so
my
great.
God.
She's so great.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
she just
she's
is.
She is pretty good.
Do you think Nicole Kidman was potentially snubbed for
No.
Baby
For
Girl?
what?
For
No.
Baby Girl?
No.
No, are you kidding?
Okay, actor in a leading role.
Okay.
So we have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice.
Also a super
Another
star
really
category.
good category here.
But it's Adrian Brody.
It is
Brody's
Adrian
taking this.
Brody, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
They all, but honestly, they're all great. They really are.
Do you think there's any chance
For someone else?
for someone else?
Not really.
No, not at
No,
this
not
point.
really.
No.
Not really. If it would be someone else, I'm gonna say maybe like an underdog, maybe like Sebastian Stan or something.
No, I think the most likely someone else is Coleman
Coleman
Domingo.
Domingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sebastian Stan wins, it'd be so jokes. I would love to see what the president actually would think.
I mean, to be
like,
honest,
what he would tweet.
to be honest, there is like maybe a 3% chance Sebastian Stan wins purely because of the political situation in the States right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just might favor voting for this film because of everything that's going
Yeah.
on with Trump.
I'm
saying it's a very slow chance.
I think
low
it's
chance,
an
but
interesting take, but I don't think
It's enough to.
it's
I
enough
fully
yeah.
no,
to
no.
beat out the other four.
I
Like,
agree,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
That's why I said like a small.
Yeah,
I think it's in the realm of possibility, but it's very, very small in
Sure.
terms of its chance.
But again, Adrian Brody carries the movie just as much as Mikey Madison does. The movie is called The Brutalist, like because technically he is the brutalist, right? Like he's.
yeah.
It would have been cooler than calling the movie Laszlo, but like he is that character. He carries the movie. He is the heart. He's brilliant.
I agree.
Do you think Daniel Craig was snubbed?
I just don't know who I'd remove him. Who I'd remove for him. That's the thing.
I agree.
Yeah,
Very good performance, but
so good.
and finally we come to potentially the biggest award for the night, and that is Best Picture.
Potentially, it is the
Potentially,
biggest. It is.
Oh, it depends. No,
Oh, yeah,
what the fuck
fair.
am I talking about?
Yeah.
So we
Well.
have Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Pérez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Wait. On the count of three, I want us all to say
Who we think's gonna-
think is going to win.
Okay.
Ready?
Gotcha.
3, 2, 1.
Anora.
Conclave. I think Conclave is going to
Nope.
win.
I think Anora.
I
I think Conclave is third in the running.
I think
I
second
would
is
say
Brutalist.
Anora, then Brutalist, then Conclave.
Yep.
But I think it's a very. I would split that like 40%, 30%, 30%. Like very.
It's very
tight.
close.
Okay, but
Very,
now
very
3, 2, 1. Who do you want to win? 3, 2, 1.
Dune Part two.
Brutalist.
Brutalist?
No, Brutalist. Because Dune Part 2 is like
Okay,
not
right,
even
Dune Part 2 is
realistic. It's
okay.
not happening.
Oh, The Brutalist
Yeah.
or
Best
Conclave?
Picture.
I'm
Ooh.
gonna say
I
this,
think
right?
The Brutalist. or
Every
Anora.
year, my favorite films like get snubbed, or I like different things that are not nominated or whatever. This is the first year where my favorite films of the year are all nominated,
interesting.
and that's Brutalist, Anora, and Substance.
Yeah.
And they're not only all nominated, but they feel like the trendiest films of the
Yeah.
year. So it's a very unique experience for me. But yeah, I'm really, really happy that
So,
they're all nominated. Like
can I
they're all
just,
great films. Like most of the films in that category, there is not a single one. I usually am like. That piece, like in private, I'm like, how could that piece of trash
Oh, yeah,
get nominated
100%.
for at least one? But
Yeah.
this year, there is not a single one I'm like that for. You know,
I have one thing to say about this entire thing, and I'm going to shut up after this. My reasoning for I want The Brutalist to win, because obviously Dune Part 2 is off the table, right? But I want The Brutalist to win because of this. I think that when you think about Best Picture winners over the last couple of years or ever, what you shouldn't just think about it on its own, but you should think about that this movie is going to end up being spoken about in the same conversation, in the same breath as Lord of the Rings, as The Godfather, as No Country for Old Men, as The Departed, as everything, all of these masterpieces. And it takes a really special film to be deserving of winning Best Picture. And I think over the last couple of years, there's been a bit of a decline in that. Like, I love Coda, but Coda, it does not have the same kind of source.
but that's one
as
example. The
Return
last
of the
2-3
King.
years have been actually
No,
very
they've been really
solid
good, but
in
I'm
there.
talking about,
like
like-
Oppenheimer, Everything
Yes,
Everywhere. What was
100%.
before that?
Coda.
Coda.
What was before Coda?
It was
Green
COVID
Book,
year.
Green Book?
No, it was
it was,
Nomadland.
Nomadland.
No.
Then it was
Okay.
Green Book.
Okay,
Parasite,
the last
yeah.
2 years have been.
But like
good,
I
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about Green Book, I think about Spotlight, and the point that I'm trying to make is I think that the Brutalist as a film, I always think that the movie that wins Best Picture should be the movie that has done the most for cinema that year, and it's done the most for filmmaking. I think Oppenheimer did the most for films, bringing people back into theaters the year before. I think that Everything Everywhere is kind of like up there with Top Gun. Is for that year what was the most important, and I think the Brutalist. Now you've got people saying, I want intermissions again. I don't mind a 3.5-hour film.
Yeah.
This is an event. Cinema is now an event.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is shot in VistaVision. What the hell is even that? I want to know what that is. What is an overture? Let's find that out.
Yeah.
And as someone who has loved the classical way of filmmaking and blending that in with modern sensibilities, that The Brutalist is a film that I think has done so much. And it has, in my opinion, the 3-hour-long, runtime and the performances and the big things. That is a film that has the source and it has the aura, if you will, to be said in the same breadth as Lord of the Rings, as The Departed. And I just don't think Conclave has that. I love Conclave, but it doesn't have that source.
That's the thing.
It, I'm done.
The reason I think Conclave is going to win is because it is a very awardsy film. It's a tight, great script that talks about a subject that is very relevant, I guess, I want to say. It has basically an all-star... The cast is insane, made up of acting legends and veterans. Edward Berger is a rising filmmaker in the industry. He didn't win for All Quiet. He might win for this. It's like a thing, almost as if like he's got that
the momentum.
The momentum exactly from doing that. I think this has Best Picture winner written all over it. Brutalist, I would be happy if it won for sure, for basically all the reasons that you say. I don't know how. I mean, to be fair, if Adrian Brody wins for Best Actor, then the whole AI thing is like it's not a determining factor whatsoever. If he wins for Best Actor, then probably The Brutalist will probably take the whole thing. But I think overall, it's very difficult. Like you say, the split is like 30-40%.
I want to rebuke something Panwa said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think The Brutalist is the best film of the year. And I agree with everything Panwa said, actually. I think in 20 years, we will look back on it as one of the greatest films of the decade, really. And
really?
I think it will age incredibly well.
Yep.
I think it will be. I actually I don't think he was like hyperbolizing when he said it will be talked about in the same vein as like No Country for Old Men. I think it will age really well.
Not just
really,
as its own film, but because of what it's done for this generation.
That's what I want to
I
rebuke, actually, is because, and I love it, like love it. I think Anora will win purely because it I mean, there is a lot of reasons why I think he'll win. I also honestly just have a bit of a gut feeling. Like it just
same.
feels like the film that will win this year. But the one thing I want to rebuke is that I feel Anora has done more for filmmakers than The Brutalist, because in the filmmaking community right now, there is a very big rise of faith in the independent process again, and the fact that you can do things on a budget and make them succeed. And there is also faith in the guerrilla filmmaking from a place of love and from a place of individual vision. So I think whilst The Brutalist maybe has contributed a lot to the direction that cinema will shift in terms of the length of films, the intermission, but also in terms of the balls the film has to do a lot of the things it does. I think Anora has actually inspired people a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And it's also
100%.
I love films that thread the line between great but also just fun. I think that's something obviously I'm not saying that is better or worse, but that is something I think. One of the reasons why I think it might win is I feel like the world kind of wants that right now.
Yeah.
And I read something really... Last thing I'm saying, promise. I read something really interesting that was one of the reasons Coda won that year, and I agree, shouldn't have won that year amongst all the other nominees, but one of the reasons it won is because that was the year post-COVID, so people were kind of craving a film that was just maybe
fun.
Not as great, but a little bit feel good.
Yeah.
And I think we are in a similar situation as the world right now, and especially as the industry, so I think that's also giving Anora a bit of a
because I think Sean Baker's such a likable guy. He's so cool. He's so inspiring.
He's so inspiring. He's that guy is literally
he has a letterbox account.
No, but he is you see all these filmmakers and you see all these blockbuster guys, and they're all incredible filmmakers, but Sean Baker is the one
he's a normal
he's
bloke.
The best one you can look at as an independent filmmaker and be so it is possible.
Yes,
his path was the one.
Yep.
He literally took the path that you're that's an insane path to continue on, and he did it.
And he made a film on an iPhone, so I love him.
100%.
Yeah, so he's and he's just he seems like the nicest guy.
Oh, he just seems like such a sweetheart.
So I think Anora winning is like it's the underdog. It's you know what I mean.
Give it
Yeah,
to them.
sorry.
He's gonna explode.
I think what you guys are saying is pretty. I agree with most of it. Ultimately, though, the reason I disagree, and I think that I don't know if The Brutalist is necessarily going to have the same impact as films like, some of the greats that we've had over the past years, is because, and I ultimately think this is why, if Conclave wins, this is probably what's going to give it the edge, or Anora wins, is The Brutalist, I feel, for all its merit, for all the incredible things it does and how it comes together as a complete package, I ultimately do think it is derivative of a lot of other films that come before, like There Will Be Blood. It is in it's in a similar tone. It's about it's a biopic-esque film. It's Adrian Brody again playing a Holocaust, post-Holocaust. It's got a lot of similar threads to films that we've had and experienced before in the past. Conclave, although you could probably compare it to something like Spotlight, is distinct because it speaks and it's intrinsic to the Catholic Church. The visual aspect of that film is solely it has that personality. If The Brutalist wasn't 3 hours long, I think it would lose a lot of that memorabilia. I don't think people would be necessarily talking about, like, I can only speak from experience, but whenever I come across people, one of the first things they say about The Brutalist is the runtime.
Yeah.
I think the runtime, for better or worse,
Is a character.
gives it a certain characteristic that I think would be memorable. But aside from that, if that film was 2 hours, I think it would still
Less remarkable.
I still think it would fall into the same kind of tone of films of like films like There Will Be Blood and The Pianist, or
Can I do one last point?
Sure, go for it.
One last point. I think one of the things that is distinctive to The Brutalist from those films, and I love both of those films, is that it's actually one of the first biopic-esque and these like long epic sagas of a man that also feels like a director's film. So I would say the Pianist, that doesn't to me feel like Polanski's film so
It's
much.
more Adrian Brody.
It's more rooted in the story and the script, and it's a great story and a great script, but it doesn't feel like the voice of the director is as evident as it is in The Brutalist. And in The Brutalist, I think that's actually one of the reasons it works, is because it is biopic-esque, and it's long and it has all these things, but it also feels incredibly personal to Brady Corbett, Corbett, whatever. Sorry, Brady Corbett. So that's one of the things I think makes it a bit different.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Well, on that note, guys, I think that concludes our discussion on predictions, snubs, who we want to win. Let us know who you think is going to win, and let us know who you want to win. Any snubs that you think have been omitted from these categories. We'd love to know. Thank you guys for joining me on this annual tradition.
Thank you for having us. Pleasure.
Of course. We are now going to shoot an episode on Oscars trivia. It's going to be an entire games episode where Mickey and Panwa are going to face off against each other and team up in some rounds of Oscars trivia. Please be sure to check that out too if you like. But for now, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will catch you very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.
Bye.